Acting 101 is a monthly podcast featuring video game actors Abubakar Salim, Ben Starr, and usually Erika Ishii, but she did not join us for this episode because we recorded it in Germany at GAMESCOM. Drunk. You've been warned, this is the drunk episode. Also, Patreon got this a couple of weeks ago, and a completely unedited version, which I think is about an extra 15 minutes or so. But whether you support the show on Patreon or not, we hope you enjoy it.
Hi everyone, we're at Gamescom, and we decided to record at 2 a.m.
It's insane.
Yep.
We decided to record at 2 a.m. and we're very drunk.
Well, we were
Yes.
going to do 11, and then we didn't, and then we didn't.
we didn't because you ended up rocking up at fucking 11.
Oh, sure. Alana's the reason why we're late. Let's be honest. Why are we the reason? You were like,
He was hanging out at a gay bar. That's
yeah,
why.
you were like,
I'm too busy at this gay bar.
I've had a lovely time at the gay bar, and we were like, we very much support you, Abu. That's fantastic.
And it was great because we were getting drinks.
Yeah.
So look at us now.
Then I came over and went, I'll be gregarious and I'll offer drinks, but I wanted Aperol Spritz. So I went to the bar next door, and then I was locked into the bar because the man said, unfortunately, you can't bring the drinks outside. So I was trapped in the bar.
But none of us knew.
No.
Yeah.
Even though I sent a message to the group.
You did, but I did reply. I said, I'm coming. I did say I'm coming.
And that's where you came.
Yes.
But you didn't know that I'd also made friends with an MMA fighter
Yes.
who had protected me from being thrown out of the bar.
Wait, why did you always get thrown out of the bar?
Well, because ironically, because I was trying to leave the bar because I had the drinks. And he was like,
Oh no, don't throw me out.
Yeah.
Whatever will I do?
yeah. So I'd bought five Aperol Spritz.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
There's
thank you.
extra context
Okay.
here that you don't even have, which is that the gay bar actually did have all the ingredients
No,
for Aperol Spritz.
It did.
But they
It
refused to
did,
make
but
them.
they refused to make them because they were like, oh, we don't do Aperol, we only do beer.
Yeah.
And it was literally, there was Aperol behind
They were like,
the man.
sorry, we don't have Aperol, but we could see it.
Can I say, in defense of the puppet bar where we were, they didn't make Aperol Spritz. They just poured Aperol Spritz mix into the
No,
glasses.
are you serious?
that was a
Yeah.
thing.
And to be honest, I don't care.
It was nice.
It's better than
It's better than most.
Yes.
I would rather have a quality premix
right.
yeah.
poured into a glass efficiently and effectively over ice than an amateur having a good go.
Completely agree.
Making you an
No,
Aperol
he's
You know?
right.
And I think that's what can relate to acting.
What Final Fantasy
Yes.
has done to you.
I know.
Yeah, actually, isn't that bad?
Final Fantasy did that?
100%.
Yeah.
I think Expedition 33 did that to me, actually.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right.
I think,
Yeah,
I
no,
think
that
I was
makes
still
sense.
pretty fucking humble around the time
Yeah.
of Final Fantasy,
Yeah.
but Expedition 33 turned me into a right prick.
Yeah, you have
Yes.
fucking Game of the Year in
Absolutely.
March and you just turn into a wanker.
Yeah, I think it's
Jesus.
I blame the French.
It's very French.
Oh, very French.
Very
If
French.
you are French and watching, I love you very much.
Yeah,
I even
you're good.
today saw people on social media be like, I knew the game was French. Didn't know it would be that French. It's a very French game.
Super
Yeah.
French. They're unapologetically French. And you know what? I respect it for them. I respect it. I respect it.
I didn't know that a lot of people call it Clair Obscur.
I find that
Isn't that-
offensive.
Wait. No, hold on.
It's Expedition 33.
It's Expedition.
Clair
It's
Obscur.
called Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Yeah.
But when we were working on the game, all of us kind of silently agreed that no one's going to call it Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Everyone was just going to call it Expedition 33. And
I call it Clair Obscur. I go like, yeah, when I played Clair Obscur.
And that's how you
okay.
say it? Clair Obscur. Where?
Listen, all right? Some people say things the way that
and
they
say
do.
whatever you want. And
Exactly. Thank you, Ben.
some people still professionally spell it incorrectly, and that annoys me a little bit. They add an E on the end of obscure, and I'm like, it's very simple, just do a little spell check. But
But also, it's fine. Keep going.
no, please, you've got stuff to say.
Generally, though, I call it Clair Obscur. I'd never call it Expedition 33.
Exactly, and we didn't.
Let's unpack that. Why?
I don't know, because it sounds more exciting. Expedition 33 sounds like a weird...
It's the 33rd Expedition. It's not. It's
no,
the
but like, no,
70
who's going to know that, though?
I think
It's
that's
like-
cool, though. That's really important because for those who've completed the game, they know that really the game is about the Clair Obscur aspect and probably less
go.
about the Expedition 33
go.
aspect.
There we go. See? Thank you,
You're not
Alana.
He
buying
didn't finish that game.
Yeah.
There's no way he finished that game.
I didn't finish the
He
game.
didn't fuck finish that game.
But I
It's a fluke.
watched the ending.
You went to YouTube and watched the ending?
Listen, right?
You're busy.
I'm a very busy man.
You're a busy
Yeah,
man.
fair
Don't worry about it.
Doing too much stuff. I had to watch it. You know what's great? There is a wallet and a remote that is going to be featured in this.
Oh wait, that's my wallet.
That's your wallet. It's going to be featured in this video, and I'm really thankful for it.
Thank you to Walnut. This is an acting podcast. Thank you for coming to Acting 101. But there was a period of my life where I realized I was going to be traveling a lot, and I wanted to upgrade my just my traveling set.
Okay.
This episode
Part
is
of
not
acting, you
this
gotta.
episode is not sponsored
travel.
by this company, but I realized I just wanted to get new stuff. I needed a new laptop. I needed a new iPad. I needed new stuff. I ended up really investing in Walnut. And Walnut is like custom leather, like Apple product containers. So it's like a sleeve for your Mac or a sleeve for your whatever. And I got them, and everything is this. Everything looks like that.
That's really.
And they're really nice. They're really nice little things. They're super dinky. They're not. They're very inoffensive, and they're very nice and well made. And so basically, I have my AirPods Max.
My only thing is, it feels like all its bits are on display.
Yeah.
It's a whore of a wallet.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
A whore of a wallet for a whore of a man.
That's what I'm saying. You
So-
see,
so
it's all out.
Here's a question.
Yes.
How have
Can't
you
wait
found?
to hear what this question is.
You know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
I am trying to keep this conversation about acting because people are listening to this and will be like, "Oh,
I'm
no,
going
legend."
to call this.
Like-
This is a drunk episode. You
Okay.
can talk about whatever you
It
want.
has to be the drunk episode.
But okay, let me ask my fucking question.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Here's the thing.
So drunk. You have to listen to this drunk, because otherwise you're like, this is not fun.
Listen, here's the thing. I'm like, this is a serious fucking question.
Sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's the
respect
thing.
you.
How have you found traveling now? Like, you're traveling a lot more. A lot of people know you.
Yeah.
A lot of people are in, it's different, right? You're not
Yeah.
going to places and not necessarily being like, oh yeah, I can kind of live in the kind of unknown sort of like freedom.
He's not
of it
Claire
all.
Obscure anymore.
He's not Claire Obscure anymore.
Yeah.
No. How have you found traveling now? Has it been enhanced or are you always on edge?
I would say that not really in traveling sense, in social scenarios, I get really fucking anxious before a social scenario.
Really?
Super anxious. Like, I love anonymity in a big way. I love being able to go, I love to not be observed.
Really fucked that up. He was like, I'll be an actor.
I know, no.
Right? But I think that all the time where like people are going, well, no, you're a massive show off. You want to be an actor. But I'm like, I didn't really think about it.
Yeah.
And tonight, for instance, all three of us will have had examples of being in a social scenario where we feel quite vulnerable or feel like, oh, there's a lot of people who would like our attention for various reasons, and I have to steel myself for that. I enjoy it. I love it. I love talking to people. I'm an absolutely people person, but at the same time, I'm fucking not, and I hate it.
Right.
And it's that dichotomy, I imagine, juxtaposition of being both a person who loves talking to people and loves talking about the thing that I love, and also absolutely hating every aspect of it because I just want to be at home doing the exact opposite.
Right.
So being able to reconcile those two aspects of my personality that exist at exactly the same time alongside of each other is really difficult.
Yeah.
And events like Gamescom, events like PAX, events like GDC, which I willingly and enthusiastically go to year on year on year because I fucking love them, I also at the same time hate them.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Because it's like, especially as actors, you kind of feel like, again, I always say this, it's with like painters or musicians, when they create their art, it's like separate of them. Whereas a lot of the time with actors, and this isn't sounding wanky, it's kind of true, but it isn't.
Well, we'll be the judge of that.
We'll edit this out.
Go ahead.
Let me say my fucking thing.
I'm very enthusiastic about it.
The point is, as an actor, you very much represent the art that you are, right?
Yeah.
Because it's you, right? It's always going to be you. I mean, of course, you're playing a character, whatever, yada, 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 but it's you. You're the canvas. So you kind of almost have to like represent yourself every time that you go out.
Yeah.
And we present ourselves. We're always out. We're always open. So then to feel almost like antisocial, when people hear that, I can imagine, quite rightly so, are like, but you present yourself as a fucking actor. You're out there all the time. Like,
don't believe
why
you.
the fuck? Like, even as streamers, like, if you're a streamer and you're doing your thing, and then you're out in a social event, and like people are coming in and be like, I love it, and you're like, oh, I just want to talk to my mates. It's like, well, hang on, you present yourself all the time. So why are you feeling uncomfortable about it?
But there's definitely also like an extra and very unique pressure to presenting yourself at something like this where people have very high expectations of you at all times.
Yeah.
And that is really intimidating. Like I found people at Gamescom to be very lovely. And I like doing stuff like this in small bursts because it's like, oh, people aren't all terrible. And some of them are really nice and they'll come up to you and say something nice. But then I have to like hide for several hours afterwards just to be like, I can't keep doing it. There's so much talking to people and they're all very nice. But what if I was rude?
And I feel like as well, like, I mean, I haven't had, like, I'm fortunate not to have it as much as you do. But there is always that feeling of like you're looking over your shoulder all the time thinking like, okay, this person I don't know are looking at me in a weird way.
Yeah.
And you know, for example, like they are there to champion your work or like support your work. There's always that feeling of like, do they like me? Do they not like me?
I think that's also just like human instinct to, if someone's staring at you, to feel like you're going to get killed, right?
Yeah.
And like you can't really turn that off in your brain where you're like, Jesus.
Survival, man.
Yeah. And you're just like, what, am I a prey right now? Why am I being stared at? Even though they're like, I'm a really big fan.
Yeah.
It's also weird because at events like this is so specific, by the way.
It really is. And I was thinking that as well.
But do you know
It's
what?
also very wanky. We're like, and we're beloved. and here's why that's hard.
Because I think that there is maybe something to be said about just social scenarios in general. But like what we're talking about, I think, is maybe power imbalances or just relationship imbalances, which is I am an actor, therefore I've always been the lowest common denominator in every single scenario. I am the thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you. And I think maybe we were talking about this earlier today. Like in my career, I have always been thankful for the work. And now I have been provided a platform where I have people who would otherwise in the social structure give me the opportunity. I had a person come up to me today who was a lead developer on a very big video game be like, you're Ben. And they were excited to meet me. And I didn't know them at all. But I come from film and TV where it's like, that is not the case. It should be cap in hand. Thank you for the opportunity. That there shouldn't be a person. Do you know what I mean? Like the fact that anyone knows my work beforehand is a very, very weird thing. And I am and will continue to be for a very, very long time at odds with that because I haven't had time to digest that. Whatever it is that we have done, whatever it is that, I mean, I even said to you, I was like, I loved your video on Kojima. You know, like the work that you do, you never have an idea of who it's going to touch and how it's going to touch and the way that it's going to touch them. And to have that visceral feedback at specifically an industry event like this, it's always going to feel very, very strange to me.
And like, isn't it crazy? Because like, again, these are people who, and I think I was talking about this with someone else, with another developer, of like saying like, really, truly, especially in games. Also, obviously, there is an element of it in TV and film. But like in games, in my mind, these developers are the stars. They're the ones creating these experiences. They're the ones creating like the bulk of everything. We literally come up at near the end of the production and kind of, uplift. We're like the bonus of it as a whole. So then to them to be like, oh my God, we loved your work. Like, you're so amazing. It's almost like, hang on, mate. You made the game.
Like, dude, like honestly,
thing.
like we're all in Dead Take together, right? And I've had so many people, I had someone this evening come up to me and recognize me, not from anything else other than Dead Take. We did what? Like,
I've actually had a lot of Dead Take mentions today.
Really?
Yeah, we had a couple of people come up to us when we were together, and they were like, "I loved you guys in Dead Take." We had
we had to do a little meet and greet in the
Yeah.
thing,
That's amazing.
which is really cool. But also, like, what was our contribution to that game? It was meaningful. It was important, and in the last thing, you gave us an amazing opportunity to kind of do some really cool shit.
Yeah.
But like the contribution to, final product ratio
Someone
is.
asked me today, they were like, how long did that take? And I was like, I don't know, 30 minutes maybe? It
So I'm
wasn't
sitting
a
there
long
being
time.
like, I can't really take credit for it. Thank you, because I fucking loved it, and the shit that we did was really, really cool. But at the same time, I didn't make the game. I didn't work on the game, so I feel like a bit of a fraud.
I can give you the developer perspective on this because it is very cool. That as a dev, when you're building a character and you're like thinking even about casting and you're like, here's what I want them to sound like and here's what I want the character to be like. When you finally cast somebody in the role that you've been writing or working on or animating or like creating skins for or whatever the fuck for 2 years, that person has brought your thing to life. So to the dev team, it's super fucking exciting. It's like oh my God, and they took the thing that we've all been working on together and they made it real, because you can't do that without an actor. That's like the defining moment of, holy shit, we're actually making this thing and it's going to speak to people because now it has a person who's performing it. And so I think especially when you're working on something as a dev and you work on it for a long time, you end up being a fan of the actors who are working on your shit, because you're like, oh my God, that take is so much better than I expected it to be based on the way that I wrote it. And I think the games industry, like you're saying, like someone will come up to you and be a fan, is uniquely very good about recognizing that, where I think maybe film and TV can often treat people like pawns or like they're inconvenient.
Yeah.
Where it's or more replaceable maybe. It is difficult to place an actor in a video game.
Yeah. It is, especially if you're starting recording a lot of stuff with them.
Yeah.
You're deep in it. Absolutely.
And like, because of the progress is so many rewrites along the way of like AAA specifically, I guess, you'll start writing with that person in mind. So you can't really replace them.
No.
It's not easy to do. But I had a thing happen once where I was at E3 and I was talking to Tim Schafer and someone came up and asked me for a photo and I was like, me? I mean, do you know?
And you're literally next to Tim.
Who that
and you're
is?
like literally.
I like almost yelled at them. He was like, you don't need to do this. And I was like, I'm not doing it for you. I was
Yeah,
like,
man.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I also think that like influence in this industry is more excitingly siloed. So you have people who are specifically a fan of this one thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
And so, you know, Alana and I were waiting for a cab and the person, it was great. We were standing next to each other and this person went, I would like a photo with you, please. And specifically was like, I would like a photo with you. And then literally 2 seconds later, someone dressed in the baguette outfit from Expedition 33 came past. And you're like,
No
that's
way.
wild. And so you're going, never has more of a contrast of like, and this one is for Alana here, and this one is for this.
Ben.
And this isn't like being recognized. More it's to do with kind of going specific and very honed in interests, existing and celebrating the idea of video games. Yeah. And being like, you today, us being recognized for Dead Take.
Again, multiple times.
Multiple times.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Isn't that cool?
That's so cool.
And being like, no one cares outside of Gamescom. No one cares outside of a PAX or whatever. When you're kind of at the concentration of that sort of thing, you do get those moments. But ultimately, it's a very cool thing for people's minor hyperfixations, and I really appreciate it. Like my algorithm recently has massively changed on YouTube. I recently got married. I went on a honeymoon, and we were like, "There's going to be like no phones," and that obviously is bullshit because that isn't a possibility. But we tried to be off social media. Or tried to be off,
and honestly, like it normally, funnily, again, this is just me commenting, but like contacting you normally is very easy. It's so funny. During your honeymoon, I knew I shouldn't reach out to you, shouldn't do, but anytime I did, it was very difficult to get in touch with you.
Yeah.
So you did very well at that. So
because we made a point of being like, we don't want to be contactable, and we want to make it clear that like we're not available for these sorts of things, because we were like, phones away, we want to have a separate life. But in doing so, I also went, I'm not going to tune into video games. I'm going to tune out of that. And now my YouTube algorithm has completely changed. It used to be recommendations for X, Y, and Z. Now it's very specific 90s film.
What?
Like, I've really gotten into like,
I love that.
so Naomi and I did a thing where every night when we got to our final destination where we stayed for like a week on our honeymoon, we were like, oh, it'd be really fun for like us to go have a day, have some food, and then come back and we could watch a film that's recommended by the other person that the other person hasn't seen.
Oh man.
Oh,
That's
wow.
tough.
Okay.
That's basically like, here is a film that affected me as a kid or whatever, that had an impact on me. Let's watch it. And I really honed in on 90s action films where I went, this is what shaped me as a person. So I was like, Con Air, The Rock, Speed. Hers were...
Perfect film.
Oh my God, The Rock.
Speed, perfect.
Speed is perfect. I think...
Heat, also perfect.
Heat.
My God. My God.
The Rock, for me, is one of my favorite action films of the 90s because it's so flawed but so brilliant in every single way. It's jingoistic nonsense.
I haven't seen it. That's Alcatraz, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Ed Harris. This is so... It's Ed Harris giving an insanely good performance. It is Sean Connery giving an insanely good performance. It's Nicolas Cage being the most Nicolas Cage you could ever possibly imagine Nicolas Cage to be. You have a cast of people who are really, really brilliant, but still... we became obsessed with like watching stuff, and my YouTube algorithm completely changed. The point that I'm making is that my sphere of influence and interest changed because I was no longer getting anything about video games. On Instagram, I was no longer getting anything about video games. I was getting 90s movies. I was getting retrospectives. I was getting a look at, and suddenly I went, my God, in the space of maybe a week, the algorithm on my phone
has changed.
I was getting no video game stuff on X. I was getting no video game stuff on Instagram. I was getting the specific thing that I was interested in at the time.
And part of that is because you weren't using it as much. So the algorithm was like, we got to fucking lock this guy in. What's happened? His usage is down.
We need
oh my
a minute.
God.
And I think maybe
90s movies, he loves these.
and so kind of coming back to it being like, you can be so fixated on like our world in this thing, but you can like, how could you not be playing video games and not know who, X person is? Well, very fucking easily.
Totally.
Yeah, right.
We were talking about this today, of that like most people who play video games are really casual, and I feel like it's easy to forget that. Like my sister plays Assassin's Creed and The Sims, and that's basically it.
Is that it?
She'll play every Assassin's Creed game, all of them, loves them. She plays The Sims. I got her to play God of War, but otherwise she's like just not really interested. We played loads of games together as a kid, and then she just like kind of went in that direction and nothing else.
Right.
And like she's watched The Last of Us, but she doesn't know who Naughty Dog is. But she's still a gamer. She's putting the hours in. And I feel like it's a thing that we often forget when you're in the niche industry, that most people have no idea. They don't know who Neil Druckmann is. They don't know who Cory Barlog is. Like I think Kojima is pretty well known at this point across the board, but my sister wouldn't fucking know who he is.
Though, man. Like I feel like if I was again to talk to the casual gamers, I know if I mentioned Kojima,
Yeah, I don't know if my sister would.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I don't think they would know.
Yeah, and the games industry has so many niches, because there's also like, there's a difference between the people who follow actors and the people who follow game studios.
Yeah.
Like there are people who played Expedition 33 who don't care about the cast.
Don't care.
But then you have people who are like huge fans. You know what I mean?
I came here solely for X. I came here. It must have been an interesting thing, actually. You, with the launch of Dead Take, it's an entirely original IP. It's from your brain. Like, do you feel that this is maybe an honest, you don't have to answer this question, maybe you can edit this out. Do you feel like the sales of the game would have been made? Do you think me and Neil and Alana and Sam had anything to do with the sales of the game?
Oh, 100%.
You do?
Oh, 100%. I think like we are now in a space where we are receiving, and again, this might be just my opinion and my thoughts, but I think we are now in a space with games where we are getting so much content that there are games for everything and everyone. And that's totally fine and totally cool. But what is that special thing that's going to bring new audiences and new people to genres or to a game? And it's going to be faces. It's going to be people that people recognize.
I think you're right.
And I think like we are now entering into this phase. And it's funny, publishers still to this day, I think, and I feel from my experience, don't care for names. They don't care for actors.
It's scary because if they get cancelled.
But this is it, right? But actually, if you're working with decent people, good people, who are very good at their job and who are able to elevate a story to another level, it's almost like a beautiful bonus. And I genuinely do believe that because of the names that we attached to this, we attracted more people who have never played horror games before.
That's
who would
interesting.
never, ever touch a horror game before.
Yeah.
They would go to it because of the names attached. Yeah. And that's great because it's like, hey, here's another genre that you can dive into and feel kind of comfortable in because you know the people who are in it. There are now other games out there. There are other horror games out there that you might even enjoy who don't necessarily have your, like, you know, your favorite in it, but like it just opens that up. But I genuinely do believe, like, and this is the other thing as well, like the amount of comments that we received of people who have purchased the game solely because of the people attached it's huge. And I'm not necessarily saying like, yeah, you should always cast like, you know, the big names. Like obviously the game has to be decent enough to kind of carry that. But I do think it's stupid to, or not necessarily stupid, it's ignorant to think that names don't bring something to it. In the same way that like Kojima has this effect where like you're like, yeah, I'll buy a Kojima game or like a Sam Lake game. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do genuinely think it did have an effect.
It's funny, and maybe this isn't the swamp to sit in, but talking about a Kojima game, it's very interesting to see the ways in which the casting for Death Stranding 2 is incredibly actor focused.
Yeah,
Because it's
And
just,
I don't think that has an influence in his case.
I don't think it does either. Because also, like, I'm not playing Death Stranding 2, for instance, because Norman Reedus is the lead. No. I'm playing it because I grew up and Metal Gear Solid is one of the most influential video games I've ever played. MGS3, I'm fascinated to see how MGS3 does because obviously the relationship between Kojima and Konami. But
Which you have to remember most people don't know about.
yeah, and also
so
most
easy to
people, and this it's maybe interesting to talk about the David Hayter of it all, recently coming out and saying, I played, Phantom Pain for the first time. It wasn't as painful as I thought it was because I was able to kind of process all that information and come out and being like, I'm being honest, I was fucking pissed off that he wasn't in that. Like, Kiefer Sutherland did a great job. I personally believe that. I think David Hayter for me is Snake in all forms.
Totally.
Yes.
Totally.
I think David Hayter is an absolute icon in so many ways. The guy wrote X2 for fuck's sake. Like he is a super talent, and also he has had such an influence on me, and actually as has Jennifer Hale and all the other actors in those video games. It annoyed me that he wasn't a part of Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
I think that's universal. It's like it felt like we felt disrespected on his behalf. In a way.
Yeah, and I think that some people are going, well, it kind of works. I'm like, I'm sure it worked, but it would have been better had David Hayter been a part of it. Mm-hmm. But I'm playing Phantom Pain because it's a Kojima game, because it's MGS, whatever. I'm playing Death Stranding because I want to see what his mind is, but also that's how they sell it. Does it shift copies? I don't know. And does Norman Reedus shift copies? Maybe if my algorithm is different.
I don't know.
It does.
It is hard to say.
Because your marketing was actor focused, so you were going to push that. Whereas Death Stranding is, well, kind of.
Because also then you've got Elle Fanning. You've got Elle Fanning on a sofa talking about something. But the way Elle Fanning speaks about the process is she is not massively clued in. She goes, I can't really speak to that. I'm not a gamer. You have Norman Reedus on Conan O'Brien or whatever he is being like, I don't know, I think they're making a sequel, breaks the news that there's a DS2 happening.
But I also think these actors are very much like their audiences know them for like live action stuff, right?
True.
Yeah.
That's
Whereas
what they want.
like, you and Neil are known for, the predominantly I'd say
100%.
are like kind of games focused.
I'm bringing. No one's going to be like, oh, I saw you in an episode of Father Brown,
or
I'm
like
gonna,
Jamestown,
no one
or like
No one cares.
I was really
about,
excited when I got to your episode and you.
Yeah.
It was very
I was
good.
really excited about
It was
that.
very good.
'Cause I was like, I know him. That's
yeah,
crazy.
but this is my thing. Like, I do feel like there is a very different. Like, the reason why like a lot of our marketing was actor focused was one, because
The story
the
is.
story is very actor focused, but two, also we know like the power in which you guys have within the acting community, within the the games community, of like people love your work, and so champion that, rather than necessarily be like, and it's a game about puzzles and it's horror. It's like, yeah, that is cool, but there's also the fact that we get to see you guys live. That's not normal. You're always hidden behind characters.
Also, Ben and I were talking about this today. FMV games are sick.
It's
Where are
so
they all
sick.
gone?
FMV sick.
It's
Bring them back.
cool as shit.
It's like, and this is the thing, and it's like, if it's done really, like, and if you
Alan Wake 2 did
use
such a good job of it.
really good actors who know how to work a camera, it just elevates it. It elevates it to another level. And I think like that, for us, it was very much a mentality of like, yeah, champion everyone, champion the gameplay, champion the actors, champion the story, because to push actors aside, which has been very normal within games, because it's almost like an afterthought. It's almost like, for us, we were like, no, this is the right way to do this thing.
The sick thing you said about FMV is, in 2025, we are seeking ways to create almost an uncanny valley of fidelity. And it's like, you're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to create
It's not working. They're like,
so
really...
just film people do it and make it part of the narrative,
Right.
because you get
like, so
you
many-
get it, but better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
man.
like I saw like there are articles about like the quality of performances in these games, which is amazing. It's like, why? Because there's a camera pointed at a human face, and it didn't cost them money. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be able to pursue that goal, but at the same time, I genuinely think some of the best video game performances of all time are not directly related to the fidelity in which someone crinkles their own eyes in that way.
And again, it's not working. Like, the industry, I think, has been banking on realism to sell things for a really long time. Look how good it looks. Is a marketing beat. It's diminishing returns at this point. Like, it's just not working. I have this thing where, for anything that I will work on, if I were to cast an actor, I like really don't want to cast anyone who has really obvious veneers. And like, I'm sort of like, people don't really look like people anymore a lot of the time. And there's this huge thing, especially living in America, where it's really obvious. Australian ads, the people who are the front-facing actors in those ads look like people. They'll just look like a person you could see down the street. The American commercials, they all have veneers and they've got Botox. Their faces don't move. They're all really good looking.
Yeah.
And I think especially when we're getting further and further into AI and that uncanny valley, I feel like we're going to swing the other direction, where people want real human faces.
Absolutely.
And we're desperate for just human connection that comes from a real
Human
fucking human
connection,
face
man.
that doesn't work with the video game realism uncanny valley.
It doesn't.
It's still not real.
And I've said this as well. Like, you can, no matter how, and this was again an active choice with Dead Take. It was like, no matter how much you animate someone, or even use like, and again, MetaHuman is incredible. It's a brilliant tool.
Yeah.
But like, no matter how much you do it, you will always be reminded that this isn't real. Whereas if you are using real faces, real humans, there isn't, the connection there is so much easier to make. And I think like that is something that we really leaned on. Plus also, again, I keep thinking about like the difference between Zao and also Dead Take. Like, the opening cinematic for Zao took months to do. Months. Whereas in Dead Take, we like filmed everything in like 2 days. And it's like,
But it works.
such a
Like, I
difference.
think that pop when you open the door and then Neil's head goes up like that and it just springs up. I just think it's super, super effective.
Yeah.
And as long as you are being intentional about your artistic choices, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Because ultimately what you are presenting is a bit of art. And whether it's film or TV, everyone is experimenting with ways that we can present whatever it is. And if your art is, we want to go for like high fidelity stuff, fucking go for it.
Yeah.
But like, Ghost of Tsushima isn't isn't a great video game because of its high fidelity. It's a great video game because of its artistic vision and its interpretation of reality.
Yeah.
It is actually not the fidelity of the faces is good. It's not best in class.
No.
What it is best in class is art direction.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so powerful.
That also lasts. Like art direction makes your game replayable.
Yeah.
Fidelity
Yeah.
doesn't. And I mean, the Decima engine I think is incredible.
Yeah.
It's so good at faces. It's good at everything. It's fucking gorgeous. But I also still, when I'm playing through Death Stranding 2 and someone cries, go, it doesn't look real. It's not real to you. And you can't turn that off because it's almost too close.
Yeah.
But anything that doesn't look quite right stands out even more.
Yeah,
'Cause they're
that's the uncanny valueness
Yeah.
of it all. And by the way, this isn't dismissing like anything to do with Death Stranding 2. Like, fucking great game. Also,
It's just a good example because their facial
'Cause it
capture
is
is
so
so
good. It's
good.
so
do you know
good.
what?
Yeah.
Like, I think the Decima engine is actually insanely good, and it's amazing in DS2. It's astonishing in Forbidden
It's
West.
still the best looking PS5 game
I've
I've played.
never seen it. There's a whole sequence in
It's
Forbidden
gorgeous.
West when they're in Vegas and they're about to go like diving into Vegas, and it's these I can't remember the name of the tribe that do it, but it's like they're kind of like ground dwellers or whatever. And I marvel at the facial expressions. I marvel at the whimsy of it and the music behind it. If you just go and see some clips of just like Forbidden West Vegas, the performances are amazing. The intricacies of this, they're able to capture human emotion. The tiniest human emotion is insane. And I don't think Forbidden West gets enough love
It's so gorgeous. It's crazy.
for its ability to do that in both a grand scale and on a micro
And
scale
not
as
even
well.
their faces, like their environment art it's so dense. I thought about making a video that was just talking about the Decima engine, but then I realized it would be 10 minutes of me going, look how good this is. It's so good. Like, it's just so
Why do
stunning.
not more people use it? Is it just because it is a
You'd have to pay for it.
Oh, really?
Gorilla owns it, yeah. So like if you wanted to use the Decima engine, you would have to.
because it's the whole thing, right? Where they gave the key to Kojima, and it was like, we gift this thing to you, you're the only person who can use it, and it's like, well, it looks that good.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so cool.
Didn't know that.
Go and have a look at some Forbidden West stuff. Like the fuck, it looks good.
Yeah. Again, and the environment. Like it's stunning. It's such a pretty
Yeah,
game.
even on the when you do, you'll have your cut sequences or whatever, and Kojima always says that, right? He doesn't use cut sequences; it's all kind of like in-game engine.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, again, Horizon Forbidden West, for those who are like, what's Forbidden West? That's a great impression of you, by the way. Who said it?
Suck on that, viewer.
There'll be one person right now,
Forbidden West?
and I'll be like, oh my god, wow, you're so fucking seen. I see you.
That was so accurate.
Fucking got him, absolutely fucking got him. Who called?
Fucking Dundum?
Someone
such a
called
good actor.
KFC because Ben's got all the zingers.
Oh, wow.
I'm drunk.
Oh no.
Why is the wine done?
I know, and it's
do you
good
know-
wine, isn't it?
It's a
It's
little upsetting that
good
the wine is
wine.
done.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. It was my wine to watch the Sandman on, and I
Are
was
you watching the Sandman?
I am watching the Sandman.
Season 2 or season 1?
Season 2.
Season 2.
And there is something about the Sandman at the moment which I'm really enjoying. It's really inspiring.
Yeah.
Really good. And yeah, I've just had a bottle of wine. Which
Really great cast of that.
it's ink, and you know what? It's again, and this is what I love about like watching series. I always find like the first season you have to kind of just like knuckle through the first season because you're learning about these characters. You're trying to get an understanding of who the dynamics and everything. It's when you get into season 2, 3, 4, and you know these people and you're going on a journey with them.
Sopranos, dude.
It's oh my god,
Yeah.
it is so much more rewarding.
The sense of family
like-
that you have at
And
the
this
end
is
of
it.
something like that.
Like, I remember watching the first season of Sandman and being like, I can't remember his name, but the guy playing Dream, I was very much like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's fucking weird. Now I'm in love with every choice this guy makes.
Something Sturridge.
Yeah, is it Tom?
Tom Sturridge?
Tom Sturridge?
Yeah.
Anyway, but like it's just I'm loving it. And
Yeah.
you don't have an art versus artist problem.
No. I think like, and I'm gonna kind of, this is just my mentality on this. And kind of
Actually,
knowing it
usually
more.
don't, but Neil Gaiman is. I
thing
have trouble
is-
with that one.
Even though Neil Gaiman is a fucking idiot, I'm watching this show knowing that there are so many cast and crew,
So many other people.
Many other people who have built this thing.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
To make this thing, and I am championing them. I'm championing their work.
That is usually my stance on that stuff.
Years of work.
Literally years of work, from the costume, from the set design, the music, the sound design, everything.
Also, Sandman's really good.
I'm like, look, sure,
Great
okay,
story.
Neil Gaiman made the fucking IP in the world of it. Sure, okay, well done, mate. But like, at the end of the day, it wouldn't be at where it is if it wasn't for everyone.
Yeah, he didn't make the
Also,
show.
I think, and I think a lot of people can make comparisons to other projects that are in development right now or whatever to that. What I will say to support your thing as well is that upon reflection of what it is, the series has ended, they've moved on, but at the same time, it's a celebration of that work and being like, we recognize we are not going to indulge in this. We're going to finish it in a way that feels honest for the people who've supported up to that point, the people who've been cast in it, all of that stuff, and we're going to move on gracefully from the project without with a respect for the material, but also not diminishing the impact that everyone has had on the project. Because I think everyone's kind of gone, great, okay, we're not going to do more Sandman. Why? Because we respect the fact that we're not going to line the pockets of this person or whatever, X, Y, and Z. There are obviously scenarios right now that are very prescient in the industry right now where, for instance, I don't know why we're making another fucking Harry Potter, but we are. Sorry if you like.
I get it, man.
It upsets me that we are doing that for a number of reasons. It also upsets me, and actually, I'll say it. It upsets me if you're in it.
Yeah.
I think I also feel that way about Harry Potter specifically.
It's specific.
I don't feel that way about Sandman.
Yeah, and I like Sandman's different. Harry Potter. If you're choosing to be in the Harry Potter HBO show, I do judge you.
Yeah, same.
And I will happily say that to your face. I'd be like, I do judge you, and I recognize that you have reasons, but I'm like, apologies if you're in it.
I'm not, mate. I'm not.
No, I just want to be like, I'm in it. I'm like, what the fuck? I do.
Harry, guys.
She only wrote one black guy, so
You know, there you go.
But like, I do. You don't need to be in it. You don't need to be in it. And also, it doesn't need to be made. There are multiple reasons why.
those movies are really good, man.
Doesn't really need to be made.
The movies are
It's done it,
definitive.
man.
They're great.
Yeah.
We're good, man. We're so good.
Don't know why
I don't
we're
need to
doing
see
it.
another person in the
I
same.
know I really shouldn't be saying this because it's the same company that's doing, like, you know, dragons, but at the same time, I'm also of the mentality of like,
yeah, and also like you don't need to really say anything because it's just, this is my personal opinion, which is I do judge a little bit,
Right.
And that is entirely on me. That isn't a universal that we should judge people for doing it. This is me just looking at someone as an actor. Would I choose to do that? No.
That's my stance with any kind of boycott is I won't play any game that uses generative AI in writing or art, and I won't do it. But I'm not going to tell other people that they shouldn't do it. You have to decide how you feel about those things and draw a line. That's it. Just decide how you feel and then stick to how you feel.
Yeah.
And like if it becomes impossible because everyone's using Gen AI, maybe my stance will have to change at some point. But I think it's like such a personal kind of decision. And I feel the exact same way about Harry Potter. She's just so awful that there's no gray area on that one for me.
No, not really.
But again, I wouldn't be mad if someone. I know there are some Harry Potter fans who are just like such big fans that they feel a different way, and that's
Also, I'm a fan of a lot of the people who were in that show.
Yeah.
Like personally, like I know people who are in that show. Like it's, but I would personally not make that choice. And if someone were to say, how do you feel about being in that show? I would go, I would question your reasons for being in that show. Please explain them to me.
yeah.
That said, I do not judge someone for watching it. Like there are people, I mean, I actually do a little bit, but like I would choose not to, but I'm not going to be super, super angry if you do choose to watch it. Also, HBO is many, many people, many people. And there are a lot of people that are going into making that show that are really fucking incredible and are going to put an amazing amount of work in, and their work needs to be seen. I think in the context of the Sandman, coming back to it, I remember there was a scenario with an actor on ITV, Noel Clark. And there was a really difficult scenario and getting into it where an actor called Noel Clark was called out for various
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it's a very British
It's
scenario.
a very British scenario.
It's a very British scenario.
But he was like, I guess there is something, again, speaking, I don't normally say this, but I'm going to say anyway.
It's the drunk
Speaking
episode.
it is the drunk episode. Speaking from a very, like, from being a black actor perspective, Noel Clark was very, like, you know, sort of pivotal in regards to making that change, in regards to, he was very much like the lead or front man in regards to making a difference within black actors within Britain, in making your own stuff and being very active, proactive, and doing stuff, and not necessarily. It was very honest. So then, when this whole thing came out about him,
Y'all got to catch
and
me
what
up.
he's done.
What would he do?
I mean, people can read about it, but basically what happened is he was very celebrated. He was actually celebrated by BAFTA not long before.
Very much celebrated by BAFTA.
Yeah, everyone really liked him because he was seen as this creative person, an innovator in many ways, kidulthood, adulthood.
Yeah, which was incredibly influential at the time, because nothing was like that hit that scale
Right.
of representing quite a large demographic of what London, or what, you know, a lot of that culture is.
Yeah.
And he was very much seen as a champion of that, and also just like a really decent guy. He came across like in that way, and yeah, he did. He was a great part in Doctor Who. He had lots of different fandoms and stuff, and he was just seen generally, publicly, as this great person. Privately in the industry, there were rumblings.
Yeah.
There were quite a few rumblings that were brought to many people on various occasions. But there are many people that there are private rumblings about people. You don't really talk about it because it's not your place to say. You hear hearsay here, there, and everywhere. And then stuff came out about Noel Clark, about relationships with women, him basically using
Abuse of power,
basically in power imbalance. And him doing a lot of things. You can read about it, that people spoke about. The Guardian ran quite an extensive article about it. It was very much like this, and then many stories came out of the woodwork.
Right.
The point I'm making is that at the time, there was a TV show on ITV that was running. He was a major character.
He was like a major character and big character.
It was a 3-part series.
He was with Ashley Waters as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is this Bulletproof?
Yeah, Bulletproof.
So I'm talking about Bulletproof. That is another thing. he was on a massive 3-part show on ITV that was basically this huge event for ITV. First episode had aired, and then the accusations came out about him, and ITV chose not to air episodes 2 and 3.
Wow.
That never happens.
That's amazing.
They pulled it. And I can't remember what the name of the show was. It might be like Blind Spot, or it wasn't Blind Spot. It was something like
That's a lot of money to
Viewpoint. I think it was
lose.
called
That's
Viewpoint.
incredible.
They pulled, and this was an epic. It was like a big budget Sunday night thing.
Wow.
One episode aired, and then they were going to show the next episodes in the next 3 days or whatever. You know how much money goes into making those ITV shows. The months that would have gone into the prep, and the writing.
Nobody does that.
And they pulled the final 2 episodes. They went under these circumstances because the accusations had come out, they pulled it. And the outrage from people in the industry was like, this is fucking bullshit.
That they pulled it?
Pardon? Yeah. Because you had people being like, we don't want Noel Clark on our screens because of this. But at the same time, they went, when are we going to show these episodes? Which hundreds of people had worked on, who were really proud of. Basically, people whose performances were erased, they never existed. People who were relying on that show for their show reels, all of this stuff. And so a really interesting and complex conversation came out around what is okay here because of one, and obviously the blame was placed at this man's actions, being like, if this person had not acted in the way that they had acted, and again, there is copious literature about what he did and what he was accused of doing, like that was the cause of people not being able to have their work expressed. So there are many, many losses to this. Mainly the one should being the people who who were unfortunate enough to be in the firing line of what Noel Clark did, and there are many, many people. It is also very important to say, for the purposes of this being recorded, legally, there are many, many scenarios in which legally he has been cleared of many of those things.
Right. But then, thinking of that and like bringing this back to sort of like then Harry Potter, like, because again, we all know the creator of Harry Potter is
I would say she's an
actively
asshole.
transphobic,
Yeah.
like
Actively.
Huge asshole.
like crazy.
Actively,
We don't want to talk about it, but like she is.
Absolutely. But then in regards to then the world in which she's created and, you know, this sort of environment that she's done, obviously I know the fact that literally even mentioning it or the idea of it or watching it is lining her pockets, and it's disgusting. I personally don't think it needs to be made because creatively, like, it's literally like, I still feel like the films are still warm. It's almost like, you know, you're
It'd be like remaking Lord of the
dead.
Rings.
No, it's
we're
like,
good.
it's like, why are you
They
doing
kind
that?
of are.
True. Creatively, I have a bit of an issue with it. But then, you know, there is a sense of like, and I think, and I do agree, I like if, you know, I kind of think back in, you know, or think to myself as an actor, if I was offered, you know, a role to be a part of this world, would I take it morally? No. I just kind of looked to myself and I'm like, I just couldn't do it.
Do you know what I really had a problem with was the Apprentice, the Donald Trump film with Sebastian Stan.
Right.
And then I saw it and it was a fucking amazing film.
Is it good?
It's an incredible film and Sebastian Stan is absolutely amazing. But I went in being like, oh, I feel icky about this.
That's why I didn't see it.
I feel icky about this. I have I was like morally go, I don't think I want to see this. But I watched it and it's amazing.
I just watched Vice for the first time the other night.
Which one?
Dick Cheney movie, Vice.
Oh my God.
Dude, that movie fucking rules.
Yeah.
So good.
Also, like, why do I feel bad about watching The Apprentice when I don't feel bad about watching Wolf of Wall Street? Which is essentially the same thing. It's eulogizing a known criminal in a way that is sympathetic.
Right.
That it is a cautionary tale in that way of going, this person is fun. It goes in bold letters, this person is a bad person, but aren't they funny when they get stuff wrong? And you're like, and you feel bad for them, you feel sorry for them, and the performers, because they are so fucking gifted, make you feel sorry for them because ultimately that's the point of humanity in the same way. But you start judging yourself, you're like, oh, should I? Yeah, the Vice, man, Dick Cheney.
Good
But do you
fucking
feel
movie.
that that's because
Very critical,
again,
though.
it's just like, again, let's say 300 years in the future, when someone watches The Apprentice, it's like this old film. Like, do you feel like that is because, like, you know, someone like of that time can watch it kind of removed, but because it is so recent and it is because we are now in here, it feels a bit raw?
It's tough because it feels. I think like it feels unnecessarily real. We don't.
Yeah, they should have made that after he died.
It shouldn't. It
Should've
shouldn't.
waited.
It shouldn't have
You don't
been.
even have to wait that long.
It shouldn't have been fucking made. I think it shouldn't have been fucking made. I think it's irresponsible to make it because also of the nature of the person who's currently in the presidency. He's a narcissist who would have loved the idea of people caring enough about him to make a movie about his life.
Yeah.
I think it's just like is bad. The movie is great, and that's what I hate, that I've both seen it and that I think it is a really good movie, and that Sebastian Stan absolutely deserved that Oscar nom because it's his performance is
What's
that
the
good.
movie about?
It's about cycles of abuse and violence.
Okay.
And really, it's about him being absolutely terrible to be him.
So it doesn't glorify him in any way.
It's impossible not to glorify him, I think, in some ways.
If you have a film about
I think
yourself, you know?
you've got to
He's
go.
the president
Isn't what
of the
he
United
achieved?
States.
Yeah, and it's so foreboding because it ends with him talking about his mantra with regards to the art of the deal, and him in a room being like, "This is what the art of the deal is going to be about," and it's obviously the never explain, never accept defeat, all of these things, and so it's obviously incredibly telling. But I mean, my dissertation was on the importance of historical accuracy in film. That was I did history. at university.
way.
And and my dissertation was on that, and it was all about kind of like hagiography essentially, and all the ways or bibliography or whatever the things you want to, like how we choose to historiography, all the ographies it was about was
You're
like,
just making up words at this point.
no.
I feel
So
that too.
hagiography is how people choose to write about themselves or have them written about themselves, and bibliography is also books. I said the wrong word because I'm pissed. And historiography is the way in which we choose to examine the way in which we examine history, which is more important than history itself, because when you die, it doesn't really matter. And the historiography of the way in which we choose to examine this period in life is going to be really interesting. And actually, the way the films are so important or art is so important to show how this period in time viewed itself, or how cynical we are about the way that we view ourselves. And I think it's interesting that we've chosen to accept and venerate a film about the American president that is like, isn't it weird that we could have seen how weird this guy's going to be?
Right.
And it's crazy, and only time will tell how we choose to kind of look back on this period of time. You know,
I don't know. I feel like it's pretty clear.
what great period of time, fucking banging
Everyone's
time.
gonna be MAGA. You know what I mean? He made it great again. He did it. We finally figured it out.
When America's finally great again, we're good.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
But I think around the world, it's the same thing. In the UK, we are having this insane identity crisis when it comes to that. And as actors, we are constantly going to be asked to re-examine this fucking shit. And you have to ask yourself, is it okay for me to... We're obsessed with fucking anti-heroes and making them sympathetic.
Yeah.
Like, is it okay if you went, you know, Idi Amin, like Last King of Scotland?
Yeah.
It's one of the best fucking screen performances I've ever seen. But it gives a sympathetic
literally to an absolute butcher.
Yeah.
Yep.
How many times have you guys had to play villains?
A lot.
And is that a challenge? Like, do you have ethical conversations with the director to be like,
You know what? Dead take.
Yeah.
The way Vinny was written, Vinny was written was open to interpretation. And then you and I was like, kind of this weird thing where I was like, you know, he was written in this typical arrogant success story, Nepo baby vibe. And then I was like, can I do this thing in the tape where I just basically show this kind of very violent, abusive behavior? Because I was like, that would be a really interesting window into the dark side that we can do that. And all of us were like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
yeah, interesting choice of words.
But it was like, oh, that's an interesting examination, because it was like behind the glass, looking at it, that we know so many fucking Vinnies.
Yeah.
We know there are so many people out there that are like, cool, violent, aggressive, dangerous, will do anything, and then will switch on a dime and be really, really fine about it.
So when you're going into playing a character who is like, quote unquote, abusive, like how much do you think about your responsibility? Do you think about the ethics of portraying that?
I think it's important to portray them. I think the more honest and real you make the character, and the more in a way relatable you make them, the more you expose a nature of them that needs help. And I think like that to me is where, like, especially when it comes to sort of playing, you know, horrible characters, because then you begin questioning why they got there. And like, for example, like again, like the choice that you made with Vinny, for example, that anger, that sort of violence, you then begin questioning where that came from. Because you've given, you know, this is a character who's been given everything, who has everything, who's, you know, who's worked, but it's not worked as hard as necessarily many others. Why are they so violent? Why are they so angry? What do they believe in? Where is their mentality to it? Whereas if you played them as like, you know, malevolent, sort of angry or evil from the get-go, you don't necessarily believe it. Whereas if you give them a humanity, you are then able to kind of relate to them. And by relating to them, you then almost question it. And I think that's
I think there's
what's
a
important.
ton of value in, we tend to write off, you know, people who commit like domestic violence or whatever as monsters. that's not true. It's the
yeah.
nicest guy you know
And
could be
this is
doing
it.
that.
And it's like, and by accepting the fact that you can, that exists, you then it's almost weirdly progressive. It isn't accepting the fact and being like, oh no, it's okay.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not fucking okay.
Yes.
But it's about being like,
These people exist.
they exist, and there's something more.
And they're
in it,
not
you know?
just monsters, you know. It, like I said,
They don't have to be monsters.
it can be the most normal person.
Be the
you know?
most normal fucking human being, man.
And it's so much. It's so much easier to let yourself, be passive in like trying to stand against something like that. If you go, well, it wasn't obvious because they're all monsters. Real people don't do this stuff, and it lets you just like it's an excuse.
Yeah.
It's like no, you only do that if you're a really evil person. That person doesn't exist. It's not a real person.
I think it's such an act to explain and not excuse. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
a
you
great way to
go,
put it.
here's the better going, like this is why they did it. I actually think it's up to the filmmaker maybe to frame what it is, because you can re-edit, you can edit a performance in a certain way to do that sort of thing. But I'm always fascinated by if someone comes out and it turns out they have engaged in abusive behavior, we look and go, I never saw it inside of them. I never saw it. I'm like, because guess what? It isn't a character-based thing. It's an action-based thing. We are not looking for this dark, dangerous soul that was always going, oh, I'm going to commit a crime. You committed the crime. You can commit acts of abuse. You can do things that are fundamentally abusive, and you have given no pattern of behavior up until that point. You can just do stuff, and then afterwards we retroactively go, oh, maybe I've seen it in their behavior beforehand that might be that. But actually, it's about accountability for your behavior. And I always find it fascinating when people go up on the stand and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to be a witness and say, I never saw it in them before. It's like, no, of course you didn't. But
Never
they still
did.
did it.
I still did it. Yeah.
They still fucking did it.
Yeah.
Just because you didn't think that they would, because you went shopping with them once and they were really nice, and you can
They
help,
wave at you from
you
afar.
can both help an old lady across the street and fucking beat someone to death.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's the thing. And I think there is something very powerful about, bringing a humanity to what is classified as a monster, because it then makes people who then watch it, especially as actors and audiences who watch it, they connect and they relate, and there's something that's like, oh, does that live inside me? What the fuck? And it's like it just shines a light on it. It doesn't almost like remove them and make them alien and kind of make you forget about it. It brings it home.
Yeah.
I think that's what's important to kind of evolving and making change.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you will begin looking at horrible monsters and kind of detach yourself from it.
That's not
and
real.
become-
No
it's
one I
not
know
real.
could
No
do
one
that.
ever is like that. No
Yeah.
one's like that. That doesn't exist. That doesn't happen. And I think that's the danger, and I think that like a lot of people do that. A lot of people kind of, this is the problem with extremism, where it becomes almost so extreme. It becomes something that you almost are like, you almost like, it's almost like a caricature. You characterize it. It's not relatable.
Yeah.
But as soon as it becomes relatable, it's a problem. And I think like, this is something that it's so funny now watching shows involved with like kids, or like, and having a kid myself, it's just another level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, and I think that's why when it comes to portraying horrible people, and you hear it all the time, and I find it so funny when actors are like, I never see the villain, I just kind of play the character. It's like, yeah, okay, you can say that, but like, let's just go deeper into the reason as to why. And it's because you want them to be relatable enough for the audience to see themselves in that, to kind of question then.
Yeah. I spoke to a psychologist when Detroit Become Human was coming out about the domestic violence in that game. I was like, how do you feel like this will actually influence people? And her answer was basically, I can only see it influencing people in a positive way, insofar as people who might have abusive tendencies will be forced to empathize. Whereas usually in the context of their lives, they can find excuses. But if you're playing through it in a video game, especially because it requires so much input, like it's forced empathy, basically, they might go, oh, this guy's bad. Oh shit, am I doing that? She was like, I can't see any world in which it inspires someone to become violent. I can see universes in which it makes violent people think about what they're doing. She was like, I only see it working in mankind's favor.
I mean, that's the whole.
Also, my laptop's about to die, so
Yeah, great. But that is the whole Hamlet thing, right? Hold a mirror up to nature. The whole point is
Yeah.
that he goes that the play within a play is to reveal the truth. So if I show the truth to you, it will reveal itself, and you will see the honesty of sadness of your ways. But yeah, it's acting, man. Do you know? We're quite drunk, but this has probably been the most profound episode.
I know we got.
the
Well,
most
that's why I
exposed.
think we got real deep in here. I thought it would be jokes, but we got real deep.
We got real deep, but I
Yeah.
think that's great. I
It's
think
the red
that's
wine.
So great.
It is the red wine.
We had fucking Aperols
It's
on this
really
bad
good.
boy.
We did have Aperol. I had some gin. We had a shot of terrible rum.
Also, if you haven't, if you don't agree with some of the things we've said, I totally get that. But at the
And
same,
that's fine.
but it's okay.
It's so fine.
We're not like
It's okay.
It's okay,
And
like-
that's the beauty of humanity.
Humans, man.
like there are lots of some of my closest friends I fundamentally disagree with on a primal level.
Yeah.
I don't hate them. It's just like
No, it's all right.
It's okay. Everyone
Make
can
your
have
own
differing
choices,
opinions.
man.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
But if you're in the Harry Potter film, TV
Except
shows,
for that, get out of there. What are you doing?
it's just the fact that like it looks exactly the same.
Why are they
doing my problem is
It's
creativity,
like Nick Frost
man.
looking like oh my god, we don't need like Nick Frost. I think you're a great actor. You're great. You just look exactly the same, dude.
Daniel
Just don't need to do
Radcliffe
it.
is still alive, bro.
Yeah.
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 He's still there.
Yep.
He
Daniel
still looks
Radcliffe.
like Harry Potter, man. Like,
He doesn't even have grey hair yet, I don't
doesn't
think.
even
you
have
know?
grays, man.
Oh my god, also like good, well done for Daniel Radcliffe, man. Like I think
Yeah,
he's
he killed
built. I think he's really like built a really
Yeah.
solid career. He seems like a really
Robert Pattinson as
nice
well.
guy.
Oh yeah, I have a friend who's worked with him very closely, and she fucking loves him. She like talks about him all the time. He bought her some sort of gun to shoot the flies in the makeup trailer,
Hot.
and I was like, sick!
Wow.
What a great guy! It was like a salt gun
Yeah,
that would shoot.
an AR,
Yeah.
an AR-17.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever.
Wait, hold on.
Again.
A
Salt.
salt. Okay, not assault.
Gun.
You said assault. Is it called assault? Is it in the workplace assault?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
Might be. I have to stop. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Bye. Because I'm worried that it's going to die before I hit stop, and I don't know if it'll save the recording.
Listen.